The next time you fall through the floor of a $70 game, look past the bug. You are seeing the ghost of a QA team that no longer exists. Right now, your favorite studio is being torn apart by two groups speaking different languages. On one side stand the builders, the people who make weapons kick, saves load, doors open, enemies react, and worlds breathe. Across the table sit the narrators, the people who explain why projects failed, teams shrank, and another reset deserves trust. Somebody spent months making one reload animation feel clean. Somebody else cut that person and made a chart look healthier. That is the real fight inside AAA gaming. Not players versus developers. Instead it is craft versus corporate theater. And the next miracle is colder, replace human judgment with AI, then call the shortcut innovation. Evidence says this is not just gamer bitterness. Look at the language companies use after damage happens. Layoffs become efficiency, studio closures become focus, cancelled games become cutting unsafe bets, delays become quality commitments, and panic becomes transformation. Failure gets washed until it sounds responsible. Corporate speech works like a mop after a flood, it moves the mess until visitors stop staring. Audiences know the trick now because the phrases follow the outcomes. Someone lost a job, teams shrank, features shipped broken, and some executive says the plan remains strong. Here are the facts. GDC Industry Survey reported that 28% of responding game workers had been laid off during the previous 2 years. Half said their current or recent employer had layoffs in the previous year. Among AAA respondents, 2/3 said layoffs happened at their company. Let that sink in. Most of the people who built your favorite worlds may be watching those worlds continue without them. Those numbers matter because games are not made by slogans. People make them. Veteran artists make a street corner feel lived in instead of copied. Senior engineers know which old system breaks when features arrive late. QA testers find mission breaks before customers pay full price. Writers stop characters from sounding like one intern wearing different jackets. Producers spot fantasy schedules before trailers sell confidence. Management calls this efficiency. Reality calls it fewer hands on the same burning stove. When a full-price game crashes, stutters, loses your save, or drops you through a floor, that is not abstract business strategy. Basically, you are watching missing labor become visible. Afterward, companies act shocked when customers are furious, even though they removed people who could catch the problem. Nothing about quality survives by positive messaging alone. Blockbuster budgets make the sickness worse because huge games become too expensive for truth. Smaller projects can swing, miss, learn, and recover. Giant releases must satisfy investors, brand teams, legal checks, platform deals, ad schedules, and blame terrified executives. Originality enters that room like a suspicious package, praised in interviews and quietly managed away. Everyone says they want bold ideas until the spreadsheet asks who gets fired if it misses. Naturally, the same brands return. Sequels return, remakes return, soft reboots return, giant maps return, familiar systems return, and safe ideas return wearing new armor. Good sequels exist and players are not fools. Trouble begins when safety becomes the whole design philosophy. Then entertainment feels like product management with explosions. Live service design made the issue impossible to ignore. Once, a game pulled you back because playing felt good. Today, too many games pull you back because the timer is running. Daily quests wait, weekly challenges reset, battle passes expire, limited skins disappear, currencies multiply, and login rewards train your hands before your brain asks whether you are having fun. Timed content can work when it respects time and gives value. Too often, the design does the opposite. Play becomes attendance, attention becomes labor, and fun becomes a checklist. Soon, engagement replaced enjoyment, which tells the whole story in one ugly business word. Enjoyment asks whether you liked being there. Retention asks whether you came back. These are not the same question. Any player can return because of guilt, fear, sunk cost, friend pressure, habit, or a skin he paid to unlock. Such behavior does not prove the game has soul. Actually, it proves the system-trained behavior. Fortnite made executives lose their minds because it proved one game could become a social machine. Bosses saw the money and learned the dumbest lesson. Rather than studying why Fortnite worked then, with that audience and social pull, many asked why their brand was not also a money planet. Time remains limited. Friends do not live inside 10 different service games at once. Wallets do not refill because a publisher discovered seasons. Patience does not expand because a roadmap promises year 2. Epic itself showed the cost of maintaining the machine when it announced layoffs in 2023, after saying spending had outrun earnings. Even the copied model came with brutal pressure. Therefore, copying the surface was never enough. Publishers tried to print Fortnites and printed exhaustion instead. AI is being sold as the miracle cure, but it may just be the next symptom. Executives hear faster art, faster testing, faster writing, cheaper content, lower cost, and fewer human bottlenecks. Workers hear replacement. Players hear slop with better confidence. Tools can help when they support boring tasks, rough drafts, testing, translation, or cleanup with human control. Danger begins when leadership treats AI as a substitute for taste, craft, judgment, timing, humor, and paid experience. Software can generate content, but it cannot care whether a mission lands, whether a joke fits, whether a death matters, or whether a world feels lived in. Gamers know cheap filler when it reaches the screen. Many may not know the pipeline, but they know the smell. Bad leadership will not be saved by AI. Likely, it will churn out more empty material faster and call the pile innovation. Ubisoft offers the pattern in one public case study. Recent years brought reported losses, delays, cancellations, shakeups, dependence on old brands, and public talk about using AI to churn out content. Viewed from the player side, the message feels simple. Assassin's Creed continues, Far Cry waits nearby. Ghost Recon remains familiar, and another reset promises better thinking. Public statements say the company is focusing on core brands. Trust does not rebuild because the plan has a new label. Buyers judge what ships, how it runs, whether it respects time, and whether the company seems honest after mistakes. Yet Ubisoft is easy to understand because the symptoms are visible. Big brands become shelter, risk narrows, costs rise, staff gets cut, leadership promises renewal, and players hear the same machine clearing its throat again. But these companies are not just narrowing what they make. Increasingly, they are narrowing what you actually own. They are not just firing the makers. Now, they are firing the owner too. Luna now adds the warning label. Amazon says Luna will end bring your own library and third-party purchases, with affected access ending June 10, 2026. Meaning matters because buy no longer always means what normal people think it means. Paying feels like ownership, but platforms often mean access under conditions. Conditions can depend on servers, licenses, accounts, subscriptions, regions, store rules, and strategy shifts. Strategy changes, then the customer receives a help page and a shrug. Cloud gaming makes the weakness obvious because the game is never truly in your hands. Convenience is real, streaming can be useful, and subscriptions can offer value. Nevertheless, the trade needs honesty before ownership becomes permissible.